When it comes to multiplying monomials, there are two steps you need to follow. The first step is to multiply your numbers, and then the second step is to apply the exponent rules that you have in your problem. It's easy to see if you take the problem and expand it. 2 times a to the fourth, if we expand it, would look like this. And 6 times a to the third would look like this. In order to multiply these two things together, the first thing we want to do is multiply our numbers. 2 times 6, which gives me 12. The next thing I'm going to do is apply my exponent rule. Our exponent rule is the product rule. The product rule says when you have two bases that are the same and you're multiplying them, that you add your exponents together. So we're going to take this a to the fourth, this a to the third, combine it together, and we see we have a total of 7 a's, which gives us a to the seventh. So our final answer is 12 a to the seventh. Okay, we can do some more complicated problems the same exact way. If I were going to do this problem, my first step would be to multiply my numbers. 4 times -7 would give me -28. Again, if you want to look at this in expanded form, I'll do this one here with the expanded form. In this monomial, I have 1a. And in this monomial, I have 2 a's, which means when I combine them together, I still have my -28 here, but I have a total of 3 a's. And then I'm going to look at my b's. In this monomial, I have 6 b's, so I'm going to draw them all out here. And in this monomial, I have 3 b's. And when I look at how many I have all together here, that gives me a total of 9 b's. Now, if we want to quit expanding and start looking just at our shortcut here, our rule is multiply our numbers, add our exponents. So let's try that on this problem. The first thing I'm going to do here is multiply my numbers. -4 times -3 gives me +12. Now let's do that exponent rule where I'm just going to add my exponents together. If I look at this monomial here, I have no a's. In this one, I have 2 a's right here, a squared. So there's nothing to combine with that, so that stays by itself. Next, I'm going to look at my b's. This monomial has b to the third. This monomial has b to the second, so my rule says I add those two exponents together. And then in my last term, I have c to the fourth. Over here, I have just 1 c. So again, I'm going to add those exponents together, c to the fourth to the 1. And my final answer would be 12 a squared, b to the fifth, c to the fifth. Now there's one more rule that we need to look at when it comes to multiplying monomials. And that's what we do when we have a power raised to a power. Remember, when you have this power outside your parentheses, it's going to apply to everything inside, which means some of these variables are going to have exponents raised to 1 power and then raised to a second power. Remember, that power rule says when you have one base raised to 2 powers, you multiply those exponents together. So if I were going to do this problem, the first thing I would need to do is I would distribute that exponent. So this power of 2 right here is going to go to everything inside these parentheses. So I get 3 raised to the second power, x raised to the second power, y raised to the second power, z raised to the second power. Then I'm going to do the same thing over here. This exponent is going to apply to everything in its parentheses, so I get 2 to the third, then I get this y to the second to the third, and z to the third to the third. So it's a little confusing, but we can simplify this by using our exponent rule. And our product rule says what we do, or our power rule, sorry about that. We're going to apply this exponent. So 3 squared gives me 9. X squared gives me x squared. Y to the second, z to the second. That's pretty straightforward. 2 to the third power here is 8. Then here, y to the second to the third, we're going to multiply those together, which is going to give me y to the sixth. And then z to the third is going to give me z to the ninth. And now my last step here is going to be to take all these things that I have and add those exponents together. So I have my two numbers, which I'm going to multiply together, 9 times 8 right here. And then I only have 1x variable in this one monomial, x squared. And then I had y squared and y to the 6th, so we're going to add those together. Z squared and z to the 9th, so we're going to add those together. And our final answer for this, multiply your numbers, 72, then x squared, y to the 8th, z to the 11th.